Hello there, people of YouTube land! This is the DodoWrestlingFan here today to quickly run off some of my thoughts on, and opinions, on Sonic Forces. Now, as I think we've already covered, I am a gigantic biblical fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. I grew up with it. It's the most nostalgic franchise for me, easily, when I think about it, and I've probably sunk more hours into Sonic than I have anything in my life. It's that powerful of a franchise to me. And I know he might not be what he used to be in terms of quality, but, you know, with games like Sonic Mania, I really thought that the Blue Blur was making a return. I actually got teary-eyed while playing Mania because I was like, this game is actually properly good. Not just by Sonic standards, but we're talking a properly good game that deserves 10 out of 10s in awards here. And that made me so happy. So I was thinking that Forces would be at least relatively good in comparison to it. But what did we end up getting? Probably one of the most mixed Sonic games to date. There's a lot of good about the game. There's also shockingly horrible amounts of bad to it, though, too. And I'm just going to quickly run down what these bad and good things are, because, well, I think the good outweighs the bad here, but the bad is definitely there, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. So, let's get into the categories. Now, I'm going to give my opinions on the modern Sonic gameplay and stages. So, without further ado, modern Sonic. Modern Sonic stages and gameplay are freaking fun. They're just adrenaline levels. Yeah, they are like a racetrack. Yes, they are linear as crap. However, they do have alternate routes, which is something that I will give credit for, and the game isn't as linear as people originally thought it was going to be, especially when collecting the red rings. So, these stages have a lot of replayability, not just only to get the red rings, but also to speedrun them, because the physics in this game are perfect for speedrunning. Like, you can just jump and just fly over the entire stage if you wanted to. And that's a lot of fun, and I really dig it. So, even though the design is very linear in most ways, like, you're just going really fast in a straight line a vast majority of the time in the 3D sections, they are a hoot. Like, I'm screaming just like, yeah! Like, that's what Sonic should be. It's fast, it's fast-paced, it's energetic, it keeps you on your toes, and I will say the Forces nails the modern Sonic style of gameplay perfectly, because when you really get down to it, the Sonic Adventure games even, they were linear in design. It was just going straight and then taking turns every now and again. There was things to explore, but Forces also has things to explore. Like, you guys, your dream Sonic game was Lost World with modern Sonic gameplay, and you all hated it. So, you guys just don't know what you want most of the time. I mean, I'm referring to the fandom as a general thing, nobody specific, but the fandom doesn't know what the heck they want when it comes to Sonic, and I think this is the perfect balance. This is like Generations again, and Generations had the modern Sonic formula pretty much perfected. However, it feels more like Colors controls, but with more boost, and I always the only thing that I ever had a gripe with Colors was the lack of boost. I felt like Sonic wasn't ever going fast, but here, defeating enemies gives you boost, collecting the whisk gives you boost. It's a perfect balance. So, in my opinion, they perfected the Colors gameplay to a T with Forces, with the modern Sonic stages, and, well, I do have some issues with modern Sonic in the 2D sections because its momentum is fucking abysmal in the 2D sections, and trust me, I will get into it. Like, the physics are amazing in 3D, that does not translate well into 2D when the game forces you to slow down and platform, because, my god, Sonic is stiff, the momentum is bad, it's just icky. It's icky all around. So, 3D is amazing, and I'm lucky that a vast majority of the time in the modern sections you are in 3D, which is another benefit, is because just in general, I don't like modern Sonic in 2D environments. It just doesn't work for me. You're supposed to be blasting through enemies using the boost to win gameplay here. That's exactly what I want from modern Sonic game. Like I said, Forces provides that in spades. But, like I said, there's a lot of sections where you're also provided to do some platforming, because at the day's end, Sonic is a platformer. It's not good. It's terrible, even. How do I even come up with a word to describe how bad it is? It's detrimentally bad. Biblically bad. It just couldn't be any worse if it tried. And this does not translate well to Classic Sonic. So, let's start off with Classic Sonic, shall we? Classic Sonic is nothing but 2D sections with modern Sonic. They didn't think to simply put the physics engine of Generations, which was far better for Classic Sonic. They could have easily modified the engine for Forces, and it would have been far better, but no, we didn't get that. We got 2D section modern Sonic, completely 2D with classic Sonic, just take away the boost and add the spin dash. And, and the drop dash. The drop dash actually works very well in classic Sonic, but really everything else is just god-awful. God-awful. Like, I'll just say, I hate playing as classic Sonic. It's not fun, because every single thing is proper platforming. The only stage that I felt was mildly even close to being fun was the casino stage in Mystic Jungle. That was actually pretty fun, but it didn't rely on a lot of platforming. That's the thing. It was just blasting through a stage. You're just going right at the end of the day, and that's the only thing that Forces does well, is just going fast. But unfortunately, a lot of classic Sonic stages are based around, hey, this is a platforming game, so you should probably platform. With a little bit of work, the engine could have been fine, but I feel like the engine was a bit rushed. I feel like Forces was a very rushed game to meet a deadline for the Christmas season. And I say if you gave it a couple more months in development, none of these would be a problem, and the game would be perfect. But unfortunately, the game appeared to have been rushed, and we have to live with what we live with. Now we get into custom character, and he's essentially just a worse version of modern Sonic. I have nothing more to say to that. He's better than classic Sonic, but nowhere near as fun to play as is modern Sonic. Some of his weapons are kind of fun to use. The lightning rope is OP as fuck. It just gets rid of everything, and it even gives you, like, a minor speed boost when you use it. And, it's fun. It's fun for what it is, but, I definitely won't be replaying the stages anytime soon. The only stages I will be replaying in Forces are the modern Sonic stages, because those are easily the highlight of the game. So, that covers the gameplay. Essentially, when you're running in a straight line in 3D, it couldn't be any more fun if it tried, and when you're in 2D trying to platform, it couldn't be any more worse if you tried. That's essentially a perfect summary of what I feel Forces gameplay is. Now let's get on to the story aspect. And the story of Forces is dark, it's gritty, and I generally love the hell out of it. I love the way Sonic acts. I love the way Infinite acts. Everybody's personality is just perfection inside Forces. I couldn't love it any more than I do. Everyone's just so good, and I'm really enthralled by the story. I keep playing through the shitty classic stages and the mediocre custom character stages just to see what happens next in the story, which hasn't been the case in Sonic games since Unleashed, actually. So yeah, this game definitely has the best story since Unleashed. It's short. It's really, really short, unfortunately. But it's a fun ride for what it is, and if you don't want to buy Forces, I just say log up the cutscenes on YouTube, because the cutscenes are well worth watching. Just, like, even if you... I don't know where I was going with that, but I guess even if you don't want to buy the game, I'd highly recommend watching the cutscenes, even if you have the most minor interest in the Sonic franchise. I think that was the point that I was trying to get across. So, it's definitely a good story. Long story short. Like, I knew just from the very first time when you hear Knuckles going like, Eggman's been torturing Sonic for the past 6 months. That's low, even by his standards. I was like, whoa, we're getting into torture territories here. Okay, and then we even see Sonic in prison later, like, battered and beaten, but he's still such a smartass against Zavok, and it's just, that's why I say the characters, their personalities are just so fucking good here. They're so refined, they're so perfected here. It's awesome. And it's also awesome seeing characters that have been left out of many installments of the Sonic games. I loved seeing the Chaotix back. I loved seeing Silverback. I loved seeing Silverback. I can't stress that enough. It's so cool. Sure, it might seem like nostalgia pandering at a first glance, but it really isn't. And like I said, seeing some of the villains like Chaos, seeing some of the villains like Metal Sonic, it's nice. It's not nostalgia pandering. It's just neat all around. I really like, another thing that I will say is Sonic Mania is nothing but nostalgia pandering, and no one criticized it for it. They reused the Death Egg as a boss. No one complains. So why are people complaining that, oh my god, Metal Sonic is a boss again? That's so lame. That's so unoriginal. Well, your beloved Mania did the same thing when you really think about it. The visuals are pretty good. The textures are nice. The character models look really shiny and nice and bright. It's a properly good-looking next-generation Sonic game. I'm baffled as to why the Switch version doesn't run at 60 FPS. Like, Mania, I'd say Mania overall is a more visually appealing game just because it runs so smooth and in such a high resolution, but Forza is really good for what it is, and if you're playing on the PS4 or PS4 Pro, the game's gonna look incredible. I got the Switch version because of portability, and I just need more Switch games. I already have buckets of PS4 and Xbox One games, so I was just like, I need more Switch games, so I got Sonic Forces on the Switch, and the game it looks fine. I won't even say it looks as good as Lost World, because Lost World's visuals were just stunning beyond comprehension, but it's like above Generations. It's above Generations, but below Lost World. That's what I'll rate the visuals as. The music a vast majority of the time is pretty unforgettable. Not unforgettable, but forgettable. Sorry about that. I really like the attention to detail of when you're playing a classic Sonic stage. They made Genesis remixes of songs, which is really a really charming feature. I thought that it was nice, and the Genesis remixes sound really cool. So, classic Sonic probably has the best music overall, but there's only one song in the game I could ever find myself listening to on repeat, and it's the final phase of the final boss of the game, which, spoiler, is not infinite, which is bullshit. It should be infinite by all accounts, but the final boss is not infinite. It's just Eggman again, which is disappointing, to say the least. Like, I remember when we went such a long time without fighting Eggman, and then Egg Negawis came out. It was like, holy fuck, you're fighting Eggman in the final boss. It was epic, because we'd never fought Eggman as the final boss in a Sonic game to that point. It was Chaos. It was the Final Hazard. It was Metal Sonic as, like, Dark Overlord. I can't remember the specific name of it from Heroes, to be frank. Solaris, Dark Gaia, and then we finally get Eggman and the Egg Wisp. And many people are complaining that the final phase is just a ripoff of Egg Wisp, but honestly, Egg Wisp was my favorite boss in Sonic history, and the final boss of Forces is freaking amazing. I love the final boss. It's properly epic, and we haven't had a good final battle, not even in the Beloved Mania. The Beloved Mania had a pretty average final boss, even Super Sonic. It was really just gliding around and smashing your head into the Egg Revray. I think that's how you pronounce it. But no, we get a proper final boss fight that takes place in multiple phases, and that's exactly what I want. And when you see the three playable characters of modern Sonic, Classic Sonic, this is the first appearance we ever see of Classic Sonic in 3D, might add. We actually get to see his animation, that is, if he didn't glitch Generations like I did multiple times to get Classic Sonic into 3D, which you can do. It's easiest to do in Rooftop Run, but that's getting off topic. And custom character, and you're all running in a hyperspace with stars shooting all around. It's just that epic theme when it kicks in. It's goosebump inducing. It really is. So there's lots of things. Like Infinite is such a good villain. He's such a good villain. And it just makes me wish that the story was longer so I could see more of the characters' personalities, the interactions. I'm really thinking, like, even if the game's over, I'm just thinking about how awesome some of these character interactions were. And I just want more of Infinite because he was such a good villain. Sure, his boss battles were on the mediocre side. I wouldn't say they're as bad as people make them out to be, even though he isn't as strong as he makes him out to be either. But just in terms of personality and that damn sexy voice, it's just, I want more Infinite and I want more Sonic, because honestly, I think that has potential to be one of the coolest rivalries of the Sonic franchise. It's something else. So, that pretty much sums up my thoughts on Sonic Forces. Do I think the game was worth 4 years? No. No, flat out no. I think if you want a Sonic game, you should definitely probably play Mania this year, because Mania was really legitimately an amazing game. Well, Forces is just an average entry into the 3D series. It's slightly below Generations in terms of quality for me. It's above Lost World. It's maybe equal to Colors for me. Maybe equal to Colors. It's just an average game. It's, when we had so many games that changed and rocked the foundation of gaming itself this year, with games like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and Nier Automata, so many more. Sonic Forces, I wanted it to be in that league, but there's another Sonic game that is, and I'm happy that we have Mania existing, because I can think about Sonic Mania in the leagues of the games that I just listed off. It's one of the highlights of 2017, and in my opinion, it was the greatest 2D Sonic game ever made. This is just an in-between 3D Sonic game with a lot of good things about it, but it also has a lot of things that I just wouldn't want to ever play again. It's just average. I can't stress that enough. It's the most 7 out of 10 at best game I've ever played. It's Good. It's good. And, you know, if you're interested in what you see, you'll probably like it. You'll find enjoyment out of it because the game's very flashy. It's fun. It's a fun experience. It's just criminally short, and it could have been a lot longer. I really wanted the story to be an epic because it has such potential to be an epic game. It has such potential to be one of the best Sonic games ever, but it just kind of fell flat on its face, and I think it's just due to the fact that Sonic Team saw a lot of changes over the 4 years of development. So, maybe the next Sonic game will be better, but let's just hope we don't have to wait 4 frickin' years for the next modern Sonic game to debut. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. This is the Dodo Wrestling Fan, signing out.